Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about my thoughts on the worst zodiac sign on this subject. And yes, it does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Well, anyway, many of you may remember that I did a video on the most disliked zodiac sign at one point. Now you're probably thinking, well, what is the difference between the most disliked zodiac sign and the worst zodiac sign? Okay, well, the most disliked zodiac sign, when I did that video, was strongly connected with animosity and jealousy toward that sign because of characteristics of that sign that others may not have been able to express as strongly or prominently. So that, and really, now worst is really is one definition, okay, is defined by dictionary.com, quote, bad or ill in the highest, greatest, or most extreme degree, end quote. Now, the worst zodiac sign may be the most loathsome sign or the one that exhibits the most negative qualities and could have maybe consequently the most negative impact on others on average. So, anyway, I'm going to go through the signs and I'm going to talk about them and talk about these signs and let you know as far as if do I feel is it the worst, any of these signs are the worst zodiac sign if one is. So anyway, now for Aries, well, Aries in their worst manifestation could be a very abrupt, exceptionally pushy, aggressive, combative, brusque, and even acrimonious at times. I think Aries is probably about the most hot-tempered of all the zodiac signs. And people can be taken, as far as the negative impact on someone, people could be taken aback by, rebuffed by this bluntness and this outspokenness and the fact that they could be quick-tempered. So I think, but that being said, there's a number of positive attributes for Aries as well to complement the negative. It has, I mean, Aries can also use a lot of their aggression, a lot of their assertiveness in positive ways, standing up for others, have a lot of courage and fortitude and strong leadership capabilities. So anyway, I don't see Aries as the worst zodiac sign. So now let me go to Taurus. Well, Taurus can be rather slow moving, very deliberate, plotting, very methodical, can be really obstinate and dogmatic in its worst expression. And really, Taurus people are hard to go anywhere. And really, they often have difficulty expanding their horizons. Some of those are the worst traits, I believe, of Taurus. Many of you may know, I have Taurus rising. It's hard for me to go anywhere. I'm not despite having a Gemini moon, I'm not what you call peripatetic or very mobile. So anyway, that being said, Taurus does have a number of positive qualities as well. They have some redeeming qualities. Taurus could be very persistent, have a lot of perseverance. I think they could have strong bounce back ability, much like Scorpio. Taurus could be very loyal and steadfast. So there's enough to offset the negative of qualities of Taurus. So I can't really see Taurus really being the worst zodiac sign. So anyway, the next sign I'll talk about, of course, next in order, Gemini. Well, Gemini in their worst expression could be very mercurial, very flighty, fickle. They could be very hard to pin down and sometimes contradictory. They could be scattered. They're not always the most reliable zodiac sign. What people could be taken aback by with Gemini is that I think Gemini has that propensity to drift in and out of someone's life a lot. And what happens is you feel that the relationship or that you have this good rapport with them and you see them for a little bit, then all of a sudden just unexpectedly they'll just kind of dissipate into thin air, and then they come back again when they feel it's time, or they're ready to come back for whatever reason. So, but that being said, Geminis are also very versatile, very multifaceted on the positive side. Geminis could be very good multitaskers. They can assimilate a lot of information in a rather short period of time. So no, I don't see. Gemini has a number of good qualities as well. So I can't say that Gemini is the worst zodiac sign. So now we go to Cancer. Well, Cancer, and it's really, as far as a strong worst traits that Cancer can have, well, Cancer could be very temperamental. They could be very emotionally unpredictable. They could be overly sensitive. They could really get hurt easy and take a lot of things personally. I mean, I have a stellium in Cancer, and I'll be the first to tell you. I'll acknowledge I could take things to heart. Sometimes I say, well, I mean, thanks for my Gemini moon and Taurus ascendant, I think modifies that strongly, but still, I could still feel hurt very easily. And thing about Cancer, though, and really about how people could be, as far as a negative impact on someone else for Cancer, well, the fact that they might not, they may take things to heart or too personally sometimes. Sometimes it can be difficult to joke with Cancer, times when you're just really being jocular or flippant, and they might take it to heart. But that being said, Cancer has a number of positive qualities as well. Cancer can also be very sentimental, very sympathetic, very loyal and steadfast to their home and family, and have a lot of, and can be very tenacious, and they can stick with things that they really are enamored with, are really strongly infatuated with. So for me, I don't see Cancer as being the worst zodiac sign. So now let's go to Leo. Well, Leo, as far as what Leo is in there, and maybe in their worst manifestation, Leo can be very flashy, flamboyant, maybe overly flamboyant, ostentatious, sometimes really showy, can come across to others and at times maybe as being a little bit arrogant or egotistical, and really acting like, well, they have all the answers for things, and and that it's just their opinion sometimes, and can be very domineering. And what happens is, when if a Leo comes out and acts like, well, this is this has to be right because I'm saying it, it can make other people feel a little bit lower, like they're not, like their opinion may not always mean something. So that's how it could have a negative impact on someone. Well, Leo has a number of positive qualities as well. Well, Leo can also be take a lot of pride in what they do. They could be very loyal. They could be very good allies to somebody. They really could be very magnanimous and generous, and really know about the art of reciprocation. They won't. I mean, may not forget an injustice like most people, but they won't forget a positive thing that someone does for them. And they generally, I believe Leos will help people out strongly in return as far as reciprocation goes. So no, I don't see Leo as being the worst sign of the zodiac. Now let's go to Virgo. Well, Virgo is a sign where they could be very critical, very judgmental, in the worst expression, picky, could be overly verbose, sometimes use more words, I think, that are necessary to express something. And really, they're not always overly confident, I think, Virgos. And I think really, when you look, and really can almost be parsimonious and frugal sometimes with their money. And the thing about this is, this could hurt somebody, a friend, thinking, okay, I understand, gifts are about the heart. It's not about how much a person spends. But I think sometimes Virgo will be reluctant to spend maybe something on somebody when they could have spent a few dollars more, and maybe could have gotten something for somebody that would have made them a little bit happier. So, and then the critical and judgmental part, sometimes not everybody needs to be criticized or needs to hear something negative about them and point it out. And I think Virgo, unfortunately, though not maliciously, will often point those things out to somebody when others won't do it. But on the other side of the coin, Virgo can also be very analytical, very intellectual, really has a lot of, can really pick up things quick in their mind, very good mentality often. They're very good with details, very punctilious with details, which can help them in jobs requiring research and attention to detail. So no, I don't see Virgo as being the worst sign of the zodiac. So the next sign, Libra. Well, with Libra can be very, in its worst expression and worst traits, I think, can be very ambivalent, have difficulty taking sides. There might be an overemphasis on appearance, and sometimes Libras will want peace at any price, I think. And the thing about Libra is that, and also they could be excessively flirtatious. Now, if Libra is involved in a relationship or something, or they're embarking on one, and really they might, what they feel, they might make an innocent flirtation. Well, this might impact someone negatively. That prospective significant other might get jealous. So that's something to look at. And sometimes you have to be more decisive with things, because if you're ambivalent, you don't make a decision on certain matters, that thing can just pass by and you could feel the repercussions from not taking action. That being said, I see Libra also has a number of redeeming qualities, including being polite, being diplomatic, very refined, very tactful. They're about intellectual sociability. So no, I don't see Libra as being the worst zodiac sign. So now let's go to Scorpio. Now, Scorpio can be rather, in their worst expression, could be rather caustic, can be sarcastic, vindictive, vengeful. They could be really more grudge holding, I think, than any of the other zodiac signs. And they really can be also excessively secretive. And the thing about it is, Scorpios could be very reluctant to become close to somebody. And the thing about this is, there's nothing wrong with being mysterious or anything like that, but sometimes Scorpios, because of their innate mistrust toward others, they take a while to allow someone to get in, and sometimes they might have an opportunity to let someone in a little bit sooner, and really sometimes that could exasperate the person on the other end that is trying to get in to really become closer and does have good intentions for Scorpio. And really the caustic side, I mean, Scorpios can really get you with their tongue more than anything else. That legendary Scorpio sting can really hurt, and that's how as far as hurting, potentially hurting someone, yes, it could have a negative impact on somebody, obviously, in that manner. But that being said, Scorpio has a number of positive attributes. Scorpio can be very loyal and steadfast allies. They're very resilient. They bounce back from adversity very strongly. Their spirit, I think, is indomitable. The symbol of Scorpio is the phoenix rising from the ashes. So no, I don't see Scorpio as being the worst zodiac sign. So let me go to Sagittarius now. Well, Sagittarius in their worst expression can be flighty, very unreliable at times, sometimes exceptionally blunt, can be superficial, and they could have a propensity toward really toward things strongly of a speculative nature, and which is good if you're judicious and you know what it is that you're doing that's connected with speculation. But I think with Sagittarius, like Aries, I think they're probably about the two most impulsive signs of the zodiac. They're probably the two most prone, have the strongest propensity to accidents, I believe, as well. And you look at a Sagittarius, and Sagittarius, a lot of times the unreliability is what stands out to me. I've noticed with some Sagittarians, and I mean, I had a friend that had Sagittarius rising, or has Sagittarius rising, I guess I should say, and I just couldn't get a phone call back from him when I call, or I couldn't get him to touch base with me after I would initiate some kind of communication, and that could obviously that could have a negative impact on a friendship or what have you. But that being said, Sagittarius has a number of positive attributes and qualities. Sagittarius can be very jocular, very whimsical, have a real strong, robust sense of humor. They could be the life of the party. They could add levity to the most despondent people. So no, I don't see Sagittarius as the worst zodiac sign. So let me go to Capricorn now. Well, Capricorn in its worst expression can be rather one-sided. They could be overly serious. They could be very similar to Scorpio. They could be very mistrusting, I think, very suspicious of others. Sometimes they could be overly dominated and obsessed by their career endeavors, I think, as well. And they can sometimes lack that whimsical side and that sense of humor, I believe. They may show it privately, but they often don't show it outwardly. They also can come across as at least somewhat undemonstrative, which really these things, in not being able to roll with things a lot of times, at least out in public, like as far as the joking, could have a negative impact, say on a friendship, for example. And the thing about Capricorn is they could take things rather very seriously. So that is something to look at as far as Capricorn goes. And the one-sidedness, sometimes I think they need to expand their viewpoint to some degree. Capricorn, even though it's a cardinal sign, it almost acts like a fixed sign as far as its temperament, with having that really, a lot of times, that strong rigidity, I think. So, but anyway, Capricorn can have a number of positive qualities. Capricorn can also be very ambitious, very pragmatic. They could be, Capricorn is a sign. A lot of times I think Capricorn, for whatever reason, they seem to remember people when a lot of other people might become oblivious to those, that they might be long forgotten. And they also have very good, shrewd business sense and be very astute in business matters. So no, I don't see Capricorn as the worst zodiac sign. Now, anyway, let me go to Aquarius. So Aquarius can come in their worst expression, can be maybe somewhat bizarre, very unpredictable. They have the rebel in them, I think, a lot of them. They could be somewhat iconoclastic, I think, and being a fixed sign, they could be very exceptionally set in their ways. And really, it can be very intractable, more so than people can get on a first impression, because it is an air sign and can be very amiable. But that being said, Aquarius, well, they're really, sometimes their idiosyncratic behavior could have a negative impact on someone if they're doing something that they feel might throw a more conservative or orthodox, kind of person off kilter a little bit. That to me, that could somehow, that could have the negative impact, perhaps on the friendship, or just general unpredictable, like behavior, I guess you could say. So the thing about it is, Aquarius also has a number of positive qualities. And for Aquarius, well, Aquarius also could be, they could be very progressive, very innovative and ingenious. They could have a very intelligent people. Aquarius can be. Aquarius also can have very strong humanitarian and selfless instincts. So I don't see Aquarius as being the worst zodiac sign. So let me go to Pisces now. Well, Pisces can be very changeable and fickle. They're similar to Gemini this way, I think. The thing about Pisces, though, is they could also be rather nebulous and somewhat impressionable, and they don't always have the best direction. And I think those are some of the worst traits of Pisces. The thing about Pisces, though, with me, I've noticed, and it's no knock on Pisces, but that they seem like the Pisces can be chameleon-like, I do believe, and their demeanor can change in different company with people. It seemed like I've known some people with Pisces prominent in their chart that were friendlier with me, that were around certain people, but around other people, say they're, quote, more important friends or whatever, their demeanor changed a little, like they didn't want to act like they want to be as connected with me. Now, I'm just going by some people here and there that I knew that had Pisces prominent in their chart, but I'm not saying that about every Pisces. The thing about it is Pisces can have a number of negative qualities. Could this still be the worst sign of the zodiac? No, because even if Pisces has more negative qualities than positive, I think that the positive in Pisces is very strong. Like, for example, Pisces can be very compassionate, very charitable. They're very much about helping those that are less fortunate than they are, such as the impoverished, the homeless, the people that are hungry, people in destitute, people that don't have the fortune that others have, so the oppressed. So no, I don't see Pisces as being the worst zodiac sign. But I want to tell you that I saw some interesting. So I don't really, as for me, I don't see any sign being the worst zodiac sign. However, I did research some interesting things on the internet regarding this to see what some other sources had stated regarding this. Now, one website had Pisces as the worst and Leo the best. That was BuzzFeed.com. And then there was something on Yahoo Answers to this question that somebody had Aquarius being the worst zodiac sign because, quote, their rebellious nature and hating norms and traditions, end quote. Then there was a website called j-14.com, and that had Leo as the worst sign based on its poll at 15%. That had 37 votes, and Sagittarius had the least at 2%, which was a whole robust 4 votes. Now, interestingly enough, 26% of those people that were polled, that took part in that poll, I should say, total of 62 votes, said that none, quote, none, everyone is cool, end quote. Which I believe that is cool right there. Because I don't think we could really say that there is one worse zodiac sign. I think the worst zodiac sign, a lot of that is predicated on one's individual natal chart, which of course is very intricate and complex, and it may be hard to really even decipher that. The thing about it is, like for me, in my chart, for instance, I think one of the worst zodiac signs for me personally would be Aries. I have a stellium in Cancer, as many of you may know. So in a number of instances, like if I try to get acquainted with an Aries sun, moon, or ascendant, one of the odds are one of those, at least one of my Cancer planets, either the sun, moon, either the sun, Mercury, or Mars, which is in my stellium, one of them at least will be squared in most cases. And Aries to me can be a little bruising. They come across a little acerbic, a little bit rough. And Cancer, of course, could be exceptionally sensitive. And Aries could be somewhat brusque and very outspoken with what they say. And I think that's where I'm taken aback, where I've had difficulties with Aries people, Aries prominent in someone's chart. Now, another thing is that many of you I've stayed before that have Taurus rising. Scorpio falls, of course, on my descendant, my 7th house cusp. So therefore, Scorpio is, unless it was a significant other situation, it was a romantic significant other situation, Scorpio could be one of the worst signs for me. It seems like I've had a number of people that had Scorpio prominent, whether sun, moon, or ascendant, they had it and right near my descendant degree of Scorpio, and they seem to be adversaries, and they were people that I definitely had some major problems with. So I think that it's really, I think it's those are the two for me that seem to be the worst for me. And I'm not knocking Aries people or knocking Scorpio people. I'm just talking about based on my experiences and my natal chart is what I'm saying. So really, that's really what it comes down to. And people, well, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the worst zodiac sign. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be continuing my series on the sun transiting the houses. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.